Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? We're at episode number 52 of Marvel Yap today. We're going to be talking about the OTA, as well as the brand new season, and we're going to recap this previous season of the Fantastic Four First Steps. But also, make sure you guys do use the code July Twitch Drops on the Marvel Snap website to get the Twitch drops you could have received that were unable to be received. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, we're joined by the hostess with the mostest, episode number 52 of Marvel Yap. How are we doing today, hostess?
Bro, oh yeah, this is episode 52. I was literally we were thinking about stuff for next week. I'm like, yeah, let's see. Yeah, wow, today is 52. We've done 52 episodes. This marks 1 year of officially yapping with you.
Yeah, and it's been a great year with all of our absolutely amazing takes that we've had on every single episode. Not a single bad take. It has been awesome to be able to do that for a year straight.
Let's go. I'm so stoked for Elektra.
Yeah, so stoked. Oh my goodness. And two cost Electro, you know? Same thing.
Yeah, it's all fine. Everything's fine. It's all dandy. It all is amazing. God, that's awesome. I'm glad that it's so cool that we've made it. I'm glad to have done this for what was it, for marking a year here with you. It's been a good time. It's been a good ride with you. I don't know what another cheesy thing could say. I just mean it. I don't know. That's it. Like, you're awesome.
It's been a good year, and I think it's been a pretty good season for Snap, and we might have a pretty good season next season, which today, what are we doing, Dance? What are we talking about today?
We've got, obviously, our OTA breakdown. There's a very large OTA that happened just on Thursday, and we're going to break it out there. We're going to talk it all through and, give our immediate reactions to it and stuff like that, as we've had a little bit more time for it to mellow, maybe based off of different than our initial reactions. We also are going to go into a review of this First Steps season, Fantastic Four First Steps season. We had 8 cards come out this month. Didn't really feel like 8, kind of. A couple of them really missed a little bit, but we'll talk about all that stuff here. And we're ending it off with our preview for next season. We got a lot of stuff we're talking about today. Because there's also a lot of stuff. 10 cards, I think, at minimum coming out next season, which is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, we actually have I think 8 to 10 cards this season, but we had 8 this season. Okay, I got 6 out of the 8 because I did not buy the Super Premium Season Pass, and I am not using my glory on the Mad Thinker. How did you spend your resources?
I have all 8 cards this season. Simply put, I think that's just the simplest way I could answer that question. I do have all 8 cards this season. Actually, but before we go into any of that season stuff or the OTA stuff, so one thing you did mention, but though, this is our 52nd one, which means next year is the 1 year anniversary of us next week. Not next year, sorry, next week. Actually, next year will be the 2 year anniversary. But so next week will be the 1 year anniversary of us doing Marvel Yap. It's been and what we want to do for that is we want to get y'all's get some of y'all's questions. Doesn't have to be Snap related, doesn't have to be not Snap related, but just questions you have for Tucker or I or both, or hopefully both of us or one of us. Don't do neither of us. If you do a question for neither of us, that doesn't both of us. Really. There you go. Better be both of us. But yeah, so if you would do that, typically at the end of the episode, we'll tell y'all a word we want to use in the comments and give you something that we would like to see there. We're going to do at the beginning today. I'm just going to tell y'all, use just the word question. Put the word question at the beginning of your message so we can keep it in mind and we can look for them a little bit easier and have kept track of. We're also going to be posting this over on our socials. So if you're not following us over on Twitter, I guess YouTube has posts. I'd never use those. And I guess it is just Twitter. Blue Sky I also have, even though I don't really use that one either. But plug Tucker. Wow, that was my worst segue of I think to date. Wow, that's my worst one.
Okay, we're just gonna we're gonna skip over what Dance. We'll let Dance recover a bit later, and we're gonna talk about the first segment. Okay, so the first segment today is going to be the OTA. And Dance, what did you think about the OTA? Which, if you guys did not know, we had 9 cards get hit in the OTA, and it was a variety of different reasonings behind each card.
It was 10.
Was it 10?
12. It was 12 cards.
Was it 12 cards? Was it 12? Did I click the wrong thing?
I know I made a graphic for it. It's 12.
Oh, well, I can't. I have 9 cards here, so Dan's gonna fill me in on the 3 that I missed. Because I have.
Well, how about you start us off here today? Just go to the first one, and we'll go into these. Actually, so one of the cards is inside of another, so that might be part of it.
Okay, one of the cards is inside of another. So I guess.
You know what? It really is basically closer to 10. There's probably exactly one you missed. I'm gonna guess it's Mole Man.
Yes, that is Mole Man is the one that I missed. So first off with Mole Man. Good old Mole Man over here went from a 3-3 to a 3-4. Yeah! Woohoo!
Cool.
Woohoo! Mole Man got a buff. Cool. But we have some bigger talking points.
We'll talk about that when we get to review.
Yeah.
But like, I wish he was better. I'm gonna say the two that there's one more that's hidden inside of the front, so I'm not gonna mention that one. But the only other one that I'm gonna guess you don't have in there is the thing when High Evo was in the deck.
Oh,
actually went back to a base of 6 power. No one noticed. No one noticed.
Yeah,
but it was apparently just for that bit. And yeah, I don't know. I'm shocked that this card is busted in High Evo for 2 weeks, and I heard 0 people talking about that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. I forgot the thing was a 4-6 in High Evo, so that's the other change I forgot. But I pulled Dormammu on screen. We're going to start with Dormammu here. Dormammu lost a point of power, and then Summoning Ritual 3 went to 2 costs instead of 3 costs. And I think this was actually a really good change for Dormammu.
So I haven't actually played a lot of Dormammu with this. How has that felt for you personally? Because again, as someone who hasn't played this, I can't give much feedback on that, even though it made sense.
It feels better. Like, it feels like you don't necessarily have to ramp to get Dormammu out in a sense. Like, you don't have to get X23 value to be able to really optimize this. And I think it makes, like, Jet made a really cool list, of course, with Dormammu. And, like, the Nimrod style deck makes it even better. Like, you also can have, like, Phoenix Force and stuff in it, too. Like, it just flows better. Like, even losing the point of power, it wasn't necessarily the power initially on Dormammu, because you're going to be destroying a card to kind of, merge that anyways and steal power. Well. So, like, at losing a point of power, I was not upset with it at all. And making this cheaper so you can get this out better, I think it was a good quality of life change for, Dormammu and Destroy.
Yeah. I think that, so Dormammu is a really fun card, and he's one that I had noticed, again, because whenever we talk about the, like, what we might be wanting to recommend for OTA things or what we want to get hit. Dormammu was actually really low, and I'm like, it was one of those things where I'm like, I haven't heard any like people complaining that he's not good, so I didn't mention it. I remember that bit, and then we see that pop up from them, which is honestly, I'm just glad that he did get a change a little bit. The biggest thing is I just don't know if he even needed to take that -1 point, but I guess I don't really hate it, considering I think a -1 cost and -1 point, that's typically well worth. It's kind of -1 cost, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I think in general sound like it was a really good change. But like, we had a couple changes on here that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Which one of them is Sunspot losing a point of power from 1-1 to 1-0, because that 1 point of power on Sunspot was so substantial into all of these decks. It was so crazy that him starting off at 1 point of power was just so busted, and he was the reason why those decks in general were all just performing so well.
Now, I think you're right, and then you went wrong. In my personal opinion.
Well, that was sarcasm for sure. Me telling the.
Well, no. But
yeah.
I understood. So through the sarcasm, you were saying, he was the point of He was the point of power. He was like a big number, and I think that's fair. I think he is a big number in those end of turn decks. But I think the point in which I think you were incorrect about is that, or no, wait, the point you were correct about is that he was a big problem. But the point you were incorrect about is that maybe it was a sarcasm thing. The point of power did nothing. I just don't think it did anything, because one of the things they specifically mentioned in the notes was that doubling Sunspot was a problem. Sunspot getting multiple triggers was a problem, and that's fair. It just means still that Sunspot's still really good. Yeah. And so his lower base rate is different. And because I think one of the things they had said was just like, hey, this with Invisible Woman First Steps is just really powerful. And we only had it for like we had it for 2 days at that point. They already knew it was going to be good. So they said, nah, immediately. And I do think it's a really good combo. Yeah, but I get it. I also think that it would have been fun to like let us play with it for a little bit, Yeah,
and I feel like the point of power really doesn't change Sunspot to me. Granted, I haven't played a lot of Sunspot since the change, so maybe I'm wrong in that 1 point of power really feels really impactful. Whereas something like Agony getting an extra point of power, I was like, yo, I actually do really like this, and I think this helps out a lot more than this losing an opponent power. I think Sunspot's still going to be strong, especially with the way an Invisible Woman especially reacts with Prodigy right now and stuff too. Like,
so Agony, this is one, and there's Agony and then 2 following, at least in this, because we're jumping a little bit in the order, but Agony was one of the ones that I was actually kind of a little bit annoyed by at first, because this felt the closest just to being power creep.
Yes.
Just straight up, because it is just right. It's going from a 1-2, which is typically a baseline, then just saying it's a 1-3 in addition. And I really wasn't a fan of that. But I took a second, I thought about it, and I was like, okay, wait, if you're looking at this stuff, based off of America Chavez's total stats, she puts 4 on the board. Because she puts 2 on top card, then 2 more with that. Silver Sable does 4 as well. So it goes into that 4 power because it actually takes 2 away and then gains 2.
Right.
So Agony kind of going to this 1-3, it makes sense in a way because that's like what it's supposed to do for the card, right? The card is meant to be giving some sort of buff. At the same exact time, I'm like, but it's just like, a 1-2 isn't enough, is what it came down to. The effect needs to be good. A 1-2 with a good effect needs to be good. And it just wasn't.
I think the 1-2 just was not the right stat line, and 1-3, like, it's a really good, like, take I think you have there too, and I think, like, it definitely makes the card better, and I'm interested to see how this, affects, later on into the game itself.
I think we're going to be talking about it next week.
Yeah, with, like, Frankie, yeah.
Yeah, spoiler for future in the app, but, like, this is, I think, very directly meant to be going to be a buffed to specifically Frankie Ray whenever we do talk about her.
Yeah, I definitely think Frankie Ray with some hand buff stuff. And then we also had Black Cat going to a 1-5, which honestly another just great quality of life change from the 2-6, which wasn't like really getting any play unless you were playing Hela. And now they're like, you know what? We want this card to be played. We don't want this card just to be discarded.
Like, they said, dude, they said, and I quote, what is it? Our goal in a bizarre twist was to get players to spend energy to put her on the board.
Yep.
And it didn't work previously because, you actually have on turn 1, you actually have a third of a chance to already have her in your hand. So it doesn't feel great. So now, at least if she's a 1 cost, you either slip her into your curve, or if you have her on first turn, you can just play her. So honestly, in the end, I actually really liked this change. I think this one is probably one of the more fair ones. Makes sense. It might need to go to a 1-4 because it is just easy to slot into in your curve, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, I think as like a spider card too. I think it's pretty cool. Like you could play it out more, and like a lot of these, like Miles turns quote unquote into a 1-6. Spider-Man's a 2-4, and after Uncle Ben, like I don't know, it just feels like it suits kind of like the Spider-Man kind of esque kind of cards. So like I'm glad it actually has the play now.
Yeah, like 2099, great
yes,
card.
just like 2099, great card. Never needs to get a change again, right? And then we had Domino. Domino went to a 2-4 from a 2-3. So yeah,
power creep is fun, but also this is one where I was like, this is power creep, but also at this point we've realized that a 2-3 on 2 that did nothing other than be itself was actually just a negative.
Yes. So
I still don't like the base of it, but I've rectified this, and the next one I'm gonna just lead into it with Invisible Woman also going to a 2-4 as well, both those from 2-3, being like, yes, those are buffs. They are definitively like getting more power, but also the way that 2-4s have currently worked in Marvel Snap is, even though it's meant to, a lot of them are inside of a deck that works with the whole thing, the 2-4s that we had, all of them had some sort of like slight debuff to them in what they were doing. And Invisible Woman, now that Alioth is in the game, probably a fair thing to say it's a debuff. I don't think this would have, if we didn't have Alioth, I think this card probably would still be fine. Domino, we've learned that is just not a good thing. The 2-3 is not enough for it to be good. So we're at a point now, if they're being, I think they can be a little bit more loose about what is actually a benefit to these cards. What of these other like 2-3s do we have that, like, yes, it is technically a buff, but also because it kind of does nothing, this can go upwards because it might hurt you more so because of just the amount of tech cards that we have.
Yeah, it feels bad for Cerebro 3 enjoyers, but
Cerebro 4 rise up?
Cerebro 4 rise up. And Cerebro 4 rise up even further with Mobius going to a 3-4.
This is the worst change of the entire OTA. I'm second dinner. Listen, you brought Storm back. I appreciate you. You've done a lot of really cool OTA changes, and I don't know if I understood, the Invisible Woman, the Domino, and the Agony is what it is. But Mobius did not need to be a 3/4. We don't need more of this card. I was talking with Toxic Soul King about this. This feels the most like when Second Dinner buff or nerfed Collector because Loki was added.
Yeah.
Or buffed up Shadow King because Agent Venom was added.
Yeah, this is instead of hitting negative, they want to just buff Mobius instead.
I didn't even think about negative. Honestly, I can't believe I didn't think about negative this whole time. I was just thinking about like Surge and much lesser extent Esme, and Mr. Fantastic First Steps. Yeah. Because all of those, like, if they don't get a debuff on their stuff, then it's at least easier for you. I had only thought about those, so I like the shout as well over to the other cards. Yeah,
and I think that's totally valid. We talked about the Mole Man change. Gwenpool going to a 4/5, I think, is totally understandable. I think it's, it's essentially a 4/11 with the way it gives power, so they don't want Galacta to be nothing that crazy again. Kahori's now probably still not getting the same play rate. I think Gwenpool's still good at 4/5. It's just,
I just think that Kahori is now at least like playable in comparison, because now you have the 4/11 base. Kahori actually has a higher output range at this point.
Yep.
And I just think this is a great change, straight up. Like, when she came out, I remember thinking, and if I'm talking about it, just being like, we're just at a place where like 4/6 with a big benefit. Like, I remember laughing about the thing at that point. But it does make a little bit more sense at this 4/5 that still works in this way. So it's still good. I'm gonna bet it might still be too strong, but we'll figure that out as time goes on.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good change, good quality of life change. Card is still playable. Blink went from a 5/7 to a 5/8. Go Blink.
Yeah, that's really cool. We have a card coming out today that's going to say "screw you." So this is the most. I will talk about that card later. I imagine there's something other than Coke that I'm drinking right now.
Yeah, it's Dance's favorite card of the season. But those are going to be all of the OTA changes. Overall, I think, you know what, Dance? I think we're going to start doing some grades for these OTAs. Out of 10, what do you think you would rate this out of 10?
That's a C.
See, I was going to say like a 7.4 out of 10.
Oh, are we doing that thing? Okay.
Yeah.
I'd go to 7. I'm just going to say 7 then, because maybe I could say it's lower, maybe I could say it's higher, but I think that there's more stuff behind it that we don't fully understand. And also with more time, maybe I'm wrong about Blink. Maybe Blink's going to be great now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if her play rate really increased dramatically with, what we have going on right now. But yeah. That's what we got going on for our OTA cards. We're now going to talk about our Fantastic Four First Steps cards. So, Dance, if you have what we ranked these cards at the beginning of the season, what are your initial thoughts of this season itself?
I think as a whole, this season had a lot of really cool pieces. I think it's just a lot of fun. This whole season felt like it was about building itself up, building a bunch of really cool things, building like a really fun combo thing, as we literally got to see at the end of the season with Invisible Woman First Steps. So it felt like everything was just like, hey, build this whole big plan, big tower together, and you have to once it's all up there, you can just go bananas with it. And we saw that happen. I think it's a really fun thing. This season felt really enjoyable, and as much as the end of turn stuff is still good, I don't think it's the best deck in the game. Straight up, I don't believe anyone's hopefully saying that. But it's just a good deck that it's new, so people are excited by it. I think I was playing just like Dak and Discard Classic, and it's very easy to outpower.
Yeah, I don't think it's the best deck in the game, but I think there's only a few decks that overpower it at the moment. So I think that's more so what is going on with this new archetype of just end of turn cards. And it's a lot of end of turn small ball, making use of First Steps, Invisible Woman, and the Fantastic Car, and a lot of Athena and Havoc stuff, which allows you to duck Shang-Chi a good majority of the time. It just really depends.
Yeah. On Invisible Woman First Steps, as that card has come out this week, I think that one this is the one that I feel like I disagreed with the way that the logic of this occurs the most. When I heard people were doing like Prodigy and stuff with this, I was like, okay, I guess you can maybe get an additional turn, but I didn't realize it doubles it each time. And I really wish this just said your end of turn abilities happen again.
Yeah, if it wasn't twice, I think it works that way because it's like the Wong mystique.
Exactly. I think it's Wong stuff. This card is, I get it. I get why it does this way because it's also, again, it's similar wording to Wong. I just don't think that's, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying it's busted. I do believe, though, we'll probably see this just go to happens again or something like that because I think that's, as I understood it, that's just how I thought the card was going to work no matter what. And that's how I kept reading it. And now we're at the situation where she does so much more. And I'm like, okay, we'll see if Second Ender likes it or not. But it also doesn't trigger abilities in hand, which I was thrown off by.
Yeah, so it doesn't hit the Hulk in hand, right?
Yeah, doesn't hit the Hulk in hand. Won't hit Galactus First Steps in hand whenever we talk about him.
Gotcha.
It's just none of these just hit the cards in hand, which felt weird to me.
And so I think to like understand the Wong analysis, right? When you activate Invisible Woman First Steps and you activate Prodigy then makes Invisible Woman First Steps happen again, or Invisible Woman First Steps makes Prodigy happen again. It's one of those two, right?
This turn, your end of turn abilities happen twice.
Right.
Then, so now, right now, you imagine it, that's 2 times they're happening. But now those are 2 separate end of turn abilities. And then when you get the Prodigy that says each of the current end of turn abilities that we have, those are happening again, which makes you get to the 4.
So it procs 4 times because those are 2 separate interactions of end of turns happening.
Because the end of turn abilities are happening.
Right.
They are just happening twice here, and then because they're 2 separate times, they're happening twice.
Gotcha. No, that makes more sense. Like when you look at it visually.
We looked at the sword. I think you and I both, when we thought about it, were like, this original ability is happening twice. But in actuality, it basically takes it. It's weird to say that it like duplicates the ability, but that's how it made sense to me. As I was able to. Like,
and that makes it make more sense for me too. So I appreciate with that.
So in the end, though, I don't think it probably should be that way. But also, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if it's actually meant to be this way. Maybe this deck is potentially fine. I think there is a good amount of new card bias in there.
Yeah, I think there's new card bias, but it has in general been performing really well this week. Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, yeah, 100%. I think, but again, this goes into the thing I said before. The card will always perform the best the week it comes out. So like, yes, I do agree that it's been performing really well this week.
For the most part, there's some cards that just underperformed the week they came out because they have essential counter cards, which this card does not have essential counter card this season just yet. But
yeah, exactly. But yeah, we'll get through that stuff. But sorry, that was the first card that released this season. This is the last card. There were a bunch in the middle still. We
had Mole Man.
He's fun. He's not good still, but he's really. This card, I will say straight up, I played this with what was it? I did this with Patriot and Victoria Hand. Bro, that's 2 rocks. Those 2 rocks easily get to like 12 power.
Yeah, and it's really like cool to like different. You've had like with the Patriot and with Victoria Hand, because I was doing the same thing. It really opens up a variety of different lines to mess around with. And one of your main issues sometimes with Victoria Hand is you don't have generated cards. So having this to give you 2 generated cards does help. Just hopefully you don't face Killmonger.
Yeah, for that bit, I just played him on the final turn. It's one of those things where I had someone telling me like, hey, hand buff is like bad. Shadow King exists, Killmonger exists, Shang-Chi exists. I'm like, listen, the secret is you just don't play your cards till the final turn. It's pretty easy. You just don't. Yep. But you don't get as many options with Mole Man because you're typically gonna go Frigga stuff and stuff like that. But I think it's still more possible. But yeah, Mole Man's just not a great card, and it came out with a card you don't even have, Thinker.
Who's bad, right?
I did play Thinker. I've played Thinker. It's just not worth it. It's because you can't get a trigger immediately with it because it's the start of each turn. So even if you played it on turn 1, you're typically not triggering it till like turn 3, at minimum.
Yeah,
I played
a
Mad
locations
Thinker
and stuff.
Yeah, you have to get like Triskelion as a location or whatever. But he's okay. He's not bad. I'm looking at him right now in front of me. I would say he's bad. I think at a 1-2 base, he'll probably be fine. I just don't think he's insanely good. He's just kind of like a real nothing burger. It doesn't feel like a good payoff or like a good piece in a deck that you're trying to use. It just exists.
Yeah, just kind of one of those like throwaway kind of Toxie style cards maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Honestly, he feels like a card that, especially considering you can't like I feel like he should be an ongoing straight up that just says ongoing +2 power for the start of each turn you've had a full hand after drawing.
Maybe ongoing would make him better. Another 1 cost ongoing. We also did have Human Torch first steps. Thoughts on Human Torch?
I liked him. I thought he was going to be power creep. I thought there were going to be other issues, but honestly, he felt really balanced, and I really liked the way that he has worked. I don't know. How have you felt about him?
Yeah, I think he's very fair. I don't think he's like the craziest thing ever. And like the comparisons, I feel like you kind of got to make are like Sage and Shaw. And I think he's a good like alternate, a little bit more predictable than the two. But I've liked being able to like use him as like a trick factor. So like they think I'm really going to fully commit to that lane, but I play off into another lane. I think that really helps like with this card being able to mitigate that. But Surfer's been in a variety of different like different shells. There's been a lot of different Surfer shells this season.
Yeah, there's been a lot, and we'll definitely be talking about some more Surfer here in just a little bit. But he's been cool. He's been pretty interesting. I probably just have legitimately no issue. I was going to take issue with him at first, but really didn't.
Yeah, he was just okay. Next, we're going to talk about, of course, the thing. We're kind of like jumping around in order here, but we're still talking about every card.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, what do you think of the thing? I'm gonna let you hit it. You start this one here.
So I wasn't playing any of like the most optimized decks for the thing, which I've like seen more people have made some better like thing decks. But I felt like this card was okay, which I liked about this card more than him just destroying a card is just gaining 2 power. I think that was good. And I also did like that he gained power and then destroyed a card. Like, I like that it was continual, unlike where Johnny, like, he doubles instead of gaining the extra point of power, which is really neat, because if he didn't, that would also be kind of crazy. But I think this, makes more sense for him to gain the power before he destroys something, because it's not targeted. If it was targeted, I would probably be like, no, I would change that. But this felt also decent. Nothing crazy.
This, I think, is, again, I'm gonna remove Mad Thinker, because honestly, with the event cards, out of at least the Series 5 cards that we had this month, this felt by and large the worst.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
This is one that we've talked about Shang-Chi before. I don't get why he can only destroy 1 card, and Shang-Chi just does everything and can be repeated on the board and just everything. They said Shang-Chi holds a very vital piece to the game. I get that he's currently he's a pillar. He is literally holding a lot of the game together. For one, we've seen Shang-Chi get nerfed or changed, and the meta's been fine. Secondarily, why does he have to be the only thing? Buff up the thing, buff 2099, let them destroy more than once. Straight up, I think the thing should just be, rather than once per game, I think it should actually have the instead thing that Human Torch has, where either buff it up or you destroy a card. Because why? I just truly don't get why this exists in such a powerful state and we don't see other cards there.
You're saying it should only be able to destroy 1 card a game, and
no, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying it either gets each turn get +2 power, or if your side hero is full, destroy an enemy card hero.
Oh, you're saying also each turn kind of thing if you are full. Okay.
Exactly.
That would be
if you're full, it'd be instead of the +2, which maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe the stats are fine. Maybe I'm overthinking that stuff and it's not actually problematic. I don't know. I don't get Shang-Chi being something that has to hold the game together when so many other pieces feel like they really could do more and try to take some of the weight off Shang-Chi's back if second dinner just let them. But then they're like, no, it's too good. That's fine. Shang-Chi's a dumb good. It's still not as good as Shang-Chi. You can pull back. We all know who your favorite child is, Ben. Calm down.
Which also brings us to our next card, which I don't have. It's going to be the Fantasticar. Is that one of Second Dinner's favorite childs right now, since Sunspot took the brute force instead of Fantasticar?
So when I first talked to you about the OTA, I said that I said straight up I thought that Sunspot took the brunt of the hit for Fantasticar. I said that. I'm going to retract what I said in our DMs here, because I think Sunspot took the hit for Invisible Woman.
Okay.
I think Sunspot took the hit for Invisible Woman. However, I don't think Fantasticar is a problem. I think it's honestly balanced as a card, even inside of these end of turn lists. I think they were perfectly fine and doing at least decently before Invisible Woman came out. And I think if there is a problematic card legitimately this season, I think again, other than Invisible Woman, I think that Mr. Fantastic First Steps should certainly get hit.
Okay. So then
that's currently where I'm at with all of these, with those specific things there.
Okay. So then I'm gonna wager.
Hit me.
So Fantasticar hits every card on the board that is an end of turn card and gives a +2.
And She-Hulk.
And She-Hulk. And She-Hulk.
For some reason.
So
can you believe that bit? I keep forgetting about that.
Yes. And I know it only happens one time. But if we are going to change Gwenpool and take away her power because she's too strong at base power, I'm wondering if you take away base power on Fantasticar. Fantasticar to 4/5.
I think both would 4/5. With Black Cat, it could probably work. With Black Cat at that slot, you probably could do that as well. Yeah, I could see it. I could see that at a 4/5 straight up. Like, I think there's a good chunk where it's technically fine, but also it's like a free point of power you can take away. I think you're correct there. That's like there's free power that you take away from it, and you don't, and the card is still fine. I think it'll probably be a little bit worse, obviously, with that, but I also think it's still fine now. So there's a weird middle ground there. I agree that you could easily hit it, but I also don't think it's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah, I think if they were to change it, that's what I was saying. I don't hate facing it necessarily.
I think the Fantasticar is one of the easier bits personally inside of that. I don't know. I ran Killmonger for a little bit and just kind of had fun and just went bananas against them. Because those decks don't run any sort of tech. And that's one of the things that I actually do think, one of the reasons why I'm wondering if that deck's more fine, because with the lack of tech, you really don't get a way to have any interaction with your opponent.
Yeah, you literally don't. That's why, there's a card coming out that I think helps kind of mitigate, you being able to just kind of do whatever you want. But yes, I think that card was good. And I think for the first season pass, super premium pass card, I think they kind of hit it on the noggin there with, a good way to sell it. I think that is really solid.
I think that was a very good stuff in that. I will say at the end of this season now, because I do have our rankings from previously. Who would you say, and what I've done in the past, just ask you for your top 3. Who are your top 3? Oh my gosh, we forgot Herbie.
Yes, I was about to say you're kind of jumping a little bit, but yes, we do have the Herbster.
Sorry, I forgot Herbie. I'm so sorry. He was great in Grand Arena.
He was great in Grand Arena, but the issue is Mr. Fantastic First Steps and Surge are just better. Merlin is just better. So slotting in Herbie into these lists, he just kind of doesn't make the cut. If those cards didn't exist, Herbie would be amazing. But since those cards exist, you just play those more optimally instead. But in Grand Arena, this card went freaking crazy, and it's because his skill was the best skill.
Exactly, yeah. So that's part of the thing where I'm wondering, okay, cool. He was worse in the actual game, unfortunately. I do like him. It felt like it's a very cool one. I think that they're gonna have to probably change something for him.
He's not a bad card. At all. It's just he's just not as good as some of the other cards.
I think if I had to throw something out there, I think that one thing they have to do with Herbie is I think they need to. There's things where you could say each of the abilities could change or whatever. I think that you make it so Herbie. What is it? I feel like Herbie's thing where he gives power to other locations. I think that should go +2 on one card.
+2 on one instead of +1, so you can kind of stack your lanes a bit better and only be okay having one card instead of trying to force yourself.
I actually think the Nomura was a really cool strat.
That'd be honestly, that'd be cool. Put +2.
Yeah, and then I'm not saying it's +2 to 2 cards. I'm just saying similar to what they did with Ironheart, where they took her 6 power and just put it into 2 hits.
Yep.
I'm saying take the 2 hits, just put them in 1. That's I think he's really close to actually being good. I think just got to make those abilities that are worse a little bit better.
Yeah, no, and I think I'd be down for that and just kind of see how it flows from there. I think that's a good just quality of life change. But going off what you were saying too, top 3 cards of the season.
Yep.
I honestly think it's probably Mr. Fantastic First Steps, Invisible Woman, and then Fantasticar.
So in order for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so Invisible Woman is your number 1.
No. Number 2.
Fantastic is for number 1. Invisible Woman is number 2, and Fantasticar is number 3. Who would, and for the worst one, which one is that?
The Thinker.
Yeah, that's fair. I think so. Fun fact: you had Fantasticar rated the highest between us. You had it at number 6.
Okay. Yeah, I was lower on it because I didn't really think it was going to be crazy, but
And I had it at number 8.
There you go.
So yeah, I think we missed on Fantastic Car, just straight up.
Yep.
However, my ranking otherwise though was Invisible Woman. Or wait, actually no, sorry. Wait, what would I rank it now? I still say Invisible Woman as number 1.
Okay.
It goes Invisible Woman, then probably going over to Mr. Fantastic. Just is really good, and then does it go? I wish it wasn't, but I guess it's Mole Man. Oh, Mole Man, even though he's not great, he's the most fun I've still enjoyed out of all the rest of the cards, I think.
Okay, so you're going on fun. And you're okay.
I always go on my own there's my own scale. There's power, there's fun, there's just I don't know. The dance rankings, you know, there's no quantifiable way to verify the stats every single time. I'd go with that. I'd say Invisible Woman's my number 1, going to Mr. Fantastic, and then going to Mole Man. But I had said the same. What is it? At the beginning of the season, I put Human Torch in that 3rd slot, though. And I don't know. Yeah, he's fine. I just kind of the reason I think he's lower for me is just because I kind of got over Surfer.
Yeah, and I think even like with hand buff and stuff, like it just didn't feel like it was the same. Or even like the double kitty Frigga thing, it just didn't hit.
None of it felt great. Even where we were trying stuff where we were thinking like, okay, wait, what about like, you know, the Sam Wilson stuff like this, and just none of it felt solid there. So it is what it is. I'm kind of over that bit. But speaking of surfers, we've had a lot of Silver Surfer this season, almost as if it was heralding our next one.
Yeah, we have another Silver Surfer season, but of course that is not the main card of the new season. It's just a Herald season starting with the First Steps Galactus, which is the season pass card, which is a 6-cost 10 power or 12 powered card. It was gonna be 10 powered, 6-cost 12 powered card.
Yeah.
And it is my Herald is the next character I see you play, meaning it's an end of turn ability too for Galactus, +2 power if you're winning my Herald's location, if in hand or in play. So if Galactus is in your hand, the first card you play with Galactus in your hand is going to be, if it's a character, is going to be his Herald. This also works if he is on the board, meaning if you play, let's say you Galactus into the lane you played the Herald on and you win that lane, Galactus also gets another +2 power at the end of the game. Or
if you somehow get it cheated out earlier on by like by something that pulls something from a deck or whatever, like you have a lot of ways that can get power.
Yes.
This is so, and it's weird. I think the biggest thing I've heard about this is everyone clowning on the way that this is worded, being like, okay, why does it say my Herald's the next one? What is all this stuff here? And I don't know if you saw, but Glenn actually responded, gave us an answer of why this is worded so weirdly. And he said, no version of the card we wrote in the 3rd person, akin to what they normally do, would fit in 3 lines. That was a significant part of what made it the most onerous. So they wrote and mocked at least 50 versions of the card, apparently.
Wow.
Before they landed like, hey, if we want this ability, it has to be in this 1st person text, which is, I guess it still works, right? Like, I think it'll take a second for people to understand it, and it's unfortunate that it is this way, but yeah, I don't know. He's going to be a big card. Red Hulk is cool, I guess. This is just Red Hulk, which, by the way, that was originally what he was, you talked about it being originally a 6'10". Red Hulk is currently a 6'10" with that +3 if your opponent has infinite energy. That was about the same for Galactus First Steps.
It's about the same, but it's a bit different because, like, with Red Hulk, the only way you can get power is if your opponent floats energy, whereas this, like, you're fighting for locations, which I think is a bit better. It just, of course, really depends into your matchups and everything, too. But I think this card has a very high floor. Of course, has a very high ceiling, too. But I say a very high floor because I feel like in most instances, you're not going to be ending the game with this at just 12 power. And I think if it goes to more even like a 16 would be like optimal. 16 to 18 is like really good because then you're winning, you know, a lane twice. And I think that is like the floor for this card. I think there's instances where you're going to win it more than twice, and that's where this card gets scary good. But I think just winning it twice, I think, is enough to put it above a lot of the other 6 costs in the game.
Yeah, So we'll talk about this, I guess. I think this is my least favorite season of Marvel Snap.
Okay. I think I know why it's going to be one of your least favorites.
Not just because of that one card that we'll get to. Everything else is there are 2 cards this season I think I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is really kind of boring abilities, in my opinion.
It's a tech season. It kind of just feels like a tech season.
So remember when I talked about how the last season felt like we were doing all this really cool building up stuff?
Yep, breaking it down.
This season really feels like it's just breaking everything right down. Like this is just like, okay, I mean it'll be good. It's a 610 or 612. It's like a Red Hulk. I don't know. Like yeah, you'll do good stuff with it. It's not interesting.
Yeah.
It just exists.
It's nothing flashy, like at least with like some of the other cards. Which the other thing is, when it comes to these more expensive cards, most of the time they're not super flashy. Like this is just a big dumb idiot's power card kind of thing. And when Scar came out, Scar was like that too. It was just a big power slop card. And I think we've had some just really really strong season pass cards. And I think that's kind of like what we have in our headspace is just how strong some of these 2-cost cards have been. Like even, Captain Carter was a 4-cost and wasn't great, but when they made her a 3-cost, that made her good. And, I think that's kind of something we got to think about. And then speaking of cards that could potentially just be tech cards, like we also have the super premium season pass card with First Step Silver Surfer.
This one's interesting.
Yes. This
is the one that I'm going to say... I think it's interesting in the fact that it's this card. I will say actually I think it's actually kind of boring still. But I also think this is if you showed me Galactus and Silver Surfer First Steps, I understand Galactus is the season pass card. Silver Surfer First Steps is 100% feels like a card that if people were talking about last season, they're like, but what if I only want Fantastic Car and I don't want Mr. Fantastic First Steps? Well, no, you don't. You don't want Fantastic Car if you don't have Mr. Fantastic First Steps. However, they went to this season like, well, I don't want Galactus First Steps, but I want Silver Surfer First Steps. I agree. I'm actually in the same boat. I think this card can do more with it, even though I don't think it's going to be interesting. So we can talk about as a negative against the Super Premium Season Pass thing, because I know people are gonna. I feel like it's gonna be something we're gonna talk about eventually.
Yeah, no, I think this is definitely a card, like, if you could buy separately, you should feel free to buy separately because it fits a lot of different play styles. And I think what makes it really cool is you can hold this on reveal because it's an end-of-turn proc until later on, because if you are winning a location but you don't have an on reveal card, this card just sits there. It doesn't gain that on reveal. It doesn't, go over that. But, like, I think this is, of course, big surfer, big stuff like that. But I think, like, this also is a potential tech card in a sense because you could essentially maybe even you Juggernaut early and then you end up winning this later, and then this moves your card over again. Like, I feel like this is something that you can use later. You can play some of your tech cards out early and use this as a tech card, which, like, looking at some of the decks that, like, Dance and I build for this too before we jump to the next card, because the next card we didn't really want to build a specific deck for.
We have I will say with this, I don't know if I love the thing with tech cards with it, and that's part of the stuff where I'm going to be interested in this because it also is like because it's an end of turn effect. That also means that you have to be winning a location. So what is a tech card going to do on the first turn of the game if you're already winning there? Yeah, and I'm not saying like you always set up a tech card on there, but I'm saying like it could be just a potential another out for the card. Yeah. For what's worth, this is the first deck I have. I actually have 2 decks here because straight up, I think this is going to be probably the better deck. We typically try to talk about the meta deck, whatever it is. I think the Super Giant stuff's going to be really good, and Tucker and I talked about this earlier. If you can get Super Giant out and you're winning your Herald's location, that's one more turn of winning your Herald's location that your opponent can't stop. Yeah. And so Galactus First Steps just feels really great there. And then there's a lot of other, you obviously still have your tech in here, but you have some other really interesting pieces that I still like in terms of being able to fight for priority. And I loved the Luna here in particular because you can throw Galactus down underneath the Super Giant, and final turn if you need to. That's a Mercury Cannonball same turn. Yeah, you do lose a little bit of power potentially if you do throw down the Galactus during the Super Giant because you won't get like the extra procs. But especially if people are going to be running a lot more Alioth and stuff, like if they're just going to Alioth your Galactus lane, oh no, my Galactus has no ability under the Alioth Super Giant. But I think that's a good shout. Like, it gives you potentially 2 turns to proc Galactus over,
just really depending on like when he is drawn and what his Herald is at the time. Nebula is very interesting, like Dan was saying too, to kind of offset power for your opponent. So they're either having to focus on the
Yeah, sorry. I love Nebula and Rocket Raccoon and Groot there as two things where if either one of those were the Herald, it's like, hey, fight for here, do it. Like for one, I think that actually you really don't want Nebula as a card there, which is actually fun, potentially a problem with the deck. But I love Rocket Raccoon as a Herald because it's like, okay, cool. Hey, please play your cards here, give me the things. Or I'll say also Copycat could be Negasonic. That's my last thing at least on this deck, but.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
It's gonna be a good one, but I will say straight up, it's good, but this other deck, for what it's worth, I am actually so much more stoked by it because I actually think this has the best Herald of Galactus inside of it.
Yeah, this one is very interesting.
It's gonna be important. This is. I don't think this is gonna be amazing in terms of stats, but Tuck, I'm gonna give you the take here. I think the best Herald for Galactus is Silk.
You think it's Silk?
Yeah. How do they fight for your Herald's location when your Herald moves away from them as soon as they try to fight for it?
That's very interesting, actually. Yeah, with Silk just being able to, she just moves around wherever you have to like aim it the right way to be able to.
They have to play a card elsewhere and then fight your Herald. I loved the idea there. That's my favorite thing with it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's really talked about that. That is cheeky.
That's why I said I told you offline or whatever. I said like, hey, I think I know the best Herald, and I stand by that one being the best one because of that. And then if you're talking about other stuff here, last one I have for Silver Surfer First Steps, it's hand buff. Listen, I know it's hand buff. I know. I've done it 1,900 times, and I'll probably still keep going with it. But also, my logic was, and I talked about it earlier, if you can't get that trigger sooner based off of, or was it if the end of game trigger, like what trigger do you want? Earlier in the game, do you want to end the game? And it's end of turn, not end of game. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted there, and I was like, what if I could just get a second Gwenpool immediately? What if I didn't need to have to worry about playing my Absorbing Man out? What if I didn't need to worry about any of that? I just had Silver Surfer First Steps right there, and I just played Gwenpool onto that lane next turn. That's 9 points on turn 4, probably not getting competed for it. And I just get, 12 extra power in my hand. And with Mr. Sinister, Mysterio, Sebastian Shaw, Captain Marvel as all great cards you want to buff up, pretty chill.
Yeah, even getting an Absorbing Man to absorb either a Gwenpool or like a Fastos onto a Silver Surfer lane could be really interesting. So I like all the like different outs I think that you have with this, and I know you love your hand buff and everything too. So like I think it's pretty cash. For First Steps Galactus, I built a Black Knight deck, of course, also using Redshift, which is another card we'll be talking about with the new season coming out here soon, which Redshift you're using for either your Galactus or your Infinite, because like one of your issues you get with Black Knight is if you don't have Blade or Lady Sif, your big card you always draw first. And I think instead of running the Agatha package, which I think was what everyone is going to be running with Redshift, I wanted to go more into the Black Knight line and have alternates there. Also having Sarah, so you could even later in the game do a Redshift Ghost Rider if you don't have necessarily your combos to kind of help out. They're also, Redshift's gonna be cool, and you have tech pieces in here with Juggernaut and Shang-Chi. Originally, this also had like Shadow King and like Surge and stuff, but I like the Mr. Fantastic a little bit more than like a Surge right now because like there's a lot of these cards you don't necessarily want to play out in curve, and that kind of will just like offset like the combos you're trying to set up later. So that's why you kind of like had the Fantastic instead. And like this always was a card or like a deck that was needing like a good 2 cost that you can kind of play a little bit earlier, which is Mr. Fantastic and potentially even that Redshift to help you out as well.
Yeah, I like this. This is a solid one. I think the only card I don't like here is Shang-Chi, and that's not even just because tech stuff, just because I think you're going to fight Redshift on Shang-Chi. Is that just me thinking that?
No, well, Shang-Chi you have in here as just like, there's people just playing a lot of powerful stuff, and because it's going to be Galactus First Steps, you want a card that also can deal with that too. So that's why I kind of like had him as tech piece in here.
Got you. Yeah, I like that. I think that this is going to be a really fun time. I'm not surprised you went for Black Knight in the slightest. Of course not. I try not to make any comment about it, but I really can't. I like it though. This is going to be really solid here. I think this is going to be. I like this idea for it. Redshift's gonna be a really fun card. I do want to talk about that one, but we'll get there when we get there, because you also have Silver Surfer.
Yes, I have Mill on repeat 2.0, which I have Yondu in this list, which kind of, I don't know if I'm going to keep Yondu in here, but pretty much with Silver Surfer here, you're not playing her into a Gladiator lane. That's just more often you're not going to do that. But you have Black Bolt and Silver Surfer on the same lane, so you could discard the lowest cost card from your opponent twice in one turn. You also could get a double Cannonball go off if you Mercury Cannonball the same lane that the Silver Surfer is on as well. So I was thinking about that. Even like Moon Knight going off twice. My idea with Yondu going off twice was also, you banish 2 cards from your opponents. Gladiator, probably not because, 4 power is not the same as 8 power. But I was thinking of just like some strong cards like Cassandra Nova with Silver Surfer First Steps could be kind of crazy. Give you some better Gladiator value and stuff. Kind of just a very mean deck.
Yeah, this seems like a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a really good place for this. I think I do want to do some stuff, I think, with Odd Hawk and or, like this Black Bolt stature package. I think there's gonna be a lot of fun stuff this season with those cards. So I like these cards. These at least, what is it? These decks seem interesting, seems fun, even with cards that I'm gonna be like, yeah, they are kind of boring. Either they just gain stats or they literally just copy something else. I think the thing I'm most excited about for what it's worth with Silver Surfer Steps is finding out the correct way that people will use it.
Yes.
Because we all have these questions like, do you want this at the end of game? Is it like next turn you want that ability? That's kind of where I went to because I felt like we're not thinking the other way. So I'm stoked with messing with this and figuring out where we want everything to be in the end. So I'm excited by a lot of this stuff coming out for next season. Also stoked, not really. No, I can't even lie. I'm not.
No, well, don't lie, Dance. You don't have to lie. For this next card we have coming out.
My dog apparently wants attention, so I'm just gonna focus on my dog.
So we have a potentially crazy tech card coming out here that counters a large majority of every single archetype in the game with good old Stardust over here, which is a 4-cost 7-power card. Ongoing cards can't be added to locations except by playing or moving them. And fun fact, if you guys did watch Buy or Bust this week, Rogue does not do anything to this card, and I had Rogue as a key synergy, and I know now, after I even talked about the card, that it doesn't make any sense because this already affects you and your opponents anyways. So, like, it doesn't really matter who has this card on the board. It's going to be global unless you Enchantress it.
Cool. It's fine. I didn't like people being able to play Destroy. I didn't like, cards that already sucked being worse. It's fine. Phoenix Force back in the game. I preferred it dead. Honestly, you know what? I don't like Doom 2099. I don't like Hela. There you go. We've got something good for it. Yay.
You don't like Doctor Doom. You don't like Ultron. You don't like Brood. You don't like Mr. Sinister.
Do you want a whole? I have a whole list for every
No,
single
you're good. I know it. It's almost like half the cards in the game.
The worst part about this, though, straight up, is this kills M'Baku, and I think that's unforgivable. And I don't know how people are okay with this, how this card could have made it past any sort of testing. Listen, I know people are going to say Second Dinner releases broken cards. The fact that they're willing just to completely destroy M'Baku, who's obviously one of the stars of Marvel Snap, is insane to me.
And Angel.
God, don't even remind me about Angel. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about how this is the end of just looking for other card that's, oh God, no, White Widow's dead, bro.
Yeah, you hate to see it. But
Herbie's worse.
This card is boring. Like, it is a boring card, but what it does well. Like, we can't lie there. Like,
yeah. So the hope is that we won't see a lot because it's a 4-cost, and you get to have other turns set up and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll talk. Tucker and I said I was like, hey Tucker, I can't build anything with this because it just like I know I do tech slop if I have to sometimes, and I'll still throw in decks that are there, but it's just like it just feels like so much of just slop I'm not interested in. And this is why I think Blink, the OTA change for Blink, is just also doesn't matter.
Yep. They changed Blink with this in mind coming up the next week, which is very, very interesting. That's what I believe.
It's literally like, hey, we're going to release a card that just stops us entirely. So let's just make a point to give her an extra bit.
Yeah, yikes. But we do have a more fun card. We do have Redshift, which is definitely niche, but like, I genuinely really like this card, which Redshift, by the way, is a 2-cost, 3-powered card. On reveal, discard the leftmost card in your hand to add a random card with the same cost to your hand.
This is going to be a lot of fun because I know, obviously, we talked about this a little bit. You have your like Galactus list. You want to use that. I'm interested in this and seeing if this is going to be able to fit inside of the place I really want to mess with is like a the Dakin discard thing. Because I feel like that when you can't discard your Swarm immediately, it really sucks. And I want to know if this will replace Colleen Wing in those.
I don't know if it'll replace Colleen, but something about this card, which if you compare it to Blade, which I like, is like there's instances where there's no downside to discard your leftmost card, whereas like with Blade, there's instances where you draw cards and you blade the wrong card. And I think because you're discarding the rightmost card, that's where Blade has a bit of a disadvantage there. Of course, this, you have to have the right card in the leftmost side in your hand, and that's either the card you drew in the very beginning of the game, or you have to really cycle through your first couple draws to be able to get value, which is one of the downsides with this card. But I think in the shells you're going to be running this with, you're going to have a lot of different opportunities to kind of like maximize this, and getting another cost card to your hand, like another same cost card to your hand, is kind of like really cool if you look at it also like Coulson, or like like your opponent sees what you're discarding, but they don't know what you get. Like with Coulson, they know you're going to get a 4 cost and you're going to get a 5 cost. They just don't know what exactly it is, and I think that's pretty cool when it comes to like a potential snap condition with this card, is that unknown factor.
One of the biggest things that I think is going to be forgotten about, but we're going to see people realize it, is because you mentioned earlier with Agatha.
Yes.
When this card brings into a random card into your hand, puts a random card in your hand, it can put another Agatha in your hand.
Yeah.
It can.
It's true.
I want that. Because I feel people are going to forget that, straight up. I feel like people are going to forget stuff like that, and they're going to be surprised, like, wait, why did it do it? It doesn't actually say it does a new card. It's a random card with the same cost. And based off of randomness, it could give you the exact same card you just get rid of, which I think is kind of funny.
The likelihood's it's definitely not very high, but it is possible.
Small.
Yes.
It's whatever cost you have times how many cards are in that cost. But yeah, so this is gonna be a fun one. I really like it. We both really like it. And if you want to see, right, because you already have a video, maybe you've shown the deck.
I'm going to be trying to hit Infinite with Redshift today, is for sure.
Yeah, so if you want to see that, go over to youtube.com/@Tucker. And tomorrow he'll have another video talking about probably Redshift, hopefully hitting Infinite with Redshift, Galactus, Agatha. I don't know what he's going to go for.
Agatha.
Probably Black Knight.
No.
Not Agatha, probably Black Knight. I'll stand by at least Black Knight. But make sure you go over there, subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of his other videos. Go ahead and drop your likes as well. Come on, those are free. All these things I'm asking you to do, by the way, they're completely free, including going to follow him over on his socials, TikTok, Twitter, all those other places. He's great. I did a failed attempt at this earlier. This one's a better one. But speaking of failed attempts, what if I failed at winning failed of winning all 3 of my allocations? My opponent's playing Darkhawk. Tuck, what do you think they should play with?
So we have what looks like the dark side of Marvel over here.
So stoked for dark side, bro.
We have Terex the Tamer, which is a 3-cost, 3-power card. On reveal, for each location, shuffle rock into the losing player's deck. Of course, if you are tied with your opponent on a location, you do not get a rock shuffled into your deck or your opponent's deck. But the loser of each location does get a rock shuffled into their deck. So this is like a location control rock slide kind of card, and a kind of, rock slide staying at 4 cost is why this card exists. But we have Terex the Tamer. What do you think about Terex?
A little bit. Yeah, Rock Slide, I don't know. Rock Slide, definitely, this is... Power Creep just feels like 100% with Rock Slide being at that level. I don't know. Rock Slide should, at the very minimum... Is he at 4-5 currently right now? Is that what he's at?
He's 4-5.
Yeah, I should go to 4-6, I think, at minimum with this change, just to make sense there. But this is going to be... It'll be probably an okay card. I don't think it's going to be atrocious. This has potential to be a really, really honestly good card. I don't want it to be incredibly good, but... I mean, I was talking to you earlier about like decks we were thinking with this, and I'm like, but if you play this on turn 3, you can get like squirrels and like a Makari just to throw points on the board. Turn 3, you play this, and you're probably winning the majority of the locations. Because I will say, the thing I love about the cards season, because again, in general, I actually think this is still my least favorite season, but this, and also with Galactus First Steps, makes you have to feel like these early turns are going to matter even more. Because it's similar when they did Iron Patriot, which Iron Patriot was busted at the time, but what they did was they made those early turns matter, because if you were losing, you don't get the benefit there. So we have this. And I think that's something that they realized, because also when we talk about data mines, next season pass card, it does the same thing. It just says, hey, if you're losing here. So it makes it so continually you want to be fighting for these occasions. You want to be fighting for more of the stuff in the early game, which is really cool. And we even are seeing that more so with like Sanctum Showdown as a game mode, which was data mined, by the way, or they announced it as a game mode for this season. Nothing in the announcement about that. I don't know. They lied to Tim Cook or Steve Jobs.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I think you bring up a good point. I think like this is a priority focused season, whereas the past couple have kind of been you can build up and then slam a bunch of crazy power towards the end, especially like with the way Sue Storm works and with the way that Pedro was working as well. Like you're just building up this unknown that your opponent kind of has to like think about what you're going to be able to play later in the game, whereas now it is, I have this on the board. If you don't do something about it, you're going to get cooked. And I think with Terex here too, I think he's also a really good potential hit for Silver Surfer for steps, because if you do have the priority into a lot of these turns as well too, you're not just shuffling 3 potential rocks into your opponent's deck. You could also be shuffling way more, just depending on like what you're focused with. Of course, there is Double-Edged Sword that you could be shuffling rocks into your own deck as well with this card. But I think playing this out either earlier or later, depending on what you got going on, can get you some really good value. And I think potentially like setting this up for later in the game instead of earlier on could be better for Darkhawk, as Darkhawk has been getting better in the meta as more people are playing Darkhawk. I've noticed a lot more people in the top 50% of Infinite right now are playing Darkhawk, and this probably will fit into that Darkhawk package as well.
I don't ever think Darkhawk was bad.
Yeah.
I just think people got. It's one of those things where I feel like a lot of times it just got boring.
Yes.
I don't know. And that's why like a lot of these cards I feel like will fade out, and you'll be like, oh wait, why is no one playing this deck? I thought it was good. It's probably fine, but like, why? But it's just not interesting. It's not new. And oftentimes you'll see all these new players being like, oh, they're playing this brand new card, brand new deck. How am I supposed to compete with it? Well, they just like new things. We all like new shiny things. That's it. I'm a sucker for new and shiny things. That's the reason I play these cards. But that's 5 cards that are coming out today, Tuck. All 5 of those come out today. And I'm going to ask you this before we go further. Speaking of shiny things, you did not get the Super Premium Season Pass last season.
I did
Are
not.
you getting it this season?
I will be getting the Super Premium Season Pass this season. I actually like the Super Premium Pass card this time, opposed to Fantastic Car. There's more I want to test with it, opposed to that, which is one of the main reasons why I'll be getting it.
That's fair. And you're probably going to get the Fantastic Car whenever it shows up in Snap Packs, because that will be in the Snap Packs as well, which, same thing as before, it's going to be it'll be there at the end of the month, or at the end of the season. So whenever the season's over, if you didn't, by the way, like either of the 2 cards, or you didn't want to spend the extra $20 or whatever it is, do that. But that's 5 cards today. Doesn't mean that's all of them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we have 5 more cards coming out this season. Next week, we are going to have good old Nova Frankie Ray, which is a 2-cost, 3-power card. After the next time you play a 6-cost card, double this card's power. And this is going to be a single game proc, because it's just after the next time you play instead of every time you play. So this is a card you kind of have to like buff up, I feel like, to actually get like value from, or it's just going to be a 2/6.
I will show a deck that I had a deck in the past where I wanted a card like Frankie Ray Nova, and I didn't realize that until very recently. So I'm excited for when we talk about this card a little bit more so, because I have something in mind that I do want to mess with it. But because this is ramping, you can do more stuff with this. It puts more incentive on the players themselves to do different things with it. I do like the way that this card looks, more so probably than everything else we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think this card has, potential to do stuff crazy. Like, I was really hoping that it could proc multiple times so I could bring back some, like, Surtur Slam, but Frankie would be instead of Surtur in that list, which would have been really cool. But since it only happens one time, I was like, I can't really do that.
A little bit unfortunate, but what do we got next though? Because I know there's one of the next cards I'm stoked for, but also I know there's a couple Series 4 cards that might be releasing before it technically.
The next card we have is the Fallen One Dance, and
yeah, this guy's gonna be fun, insane. Bro, this is as I've looked through more and more stuff. This is the first card I think we could in a hot second we could easily see just get nerfed before it comes out. I think this can go to a 5. This card, I'm going to say straight up, is going to be probably the most busted card this season. This should be a 5-4, 5-3.
Yeah, I think this is a card that they need to kind of either, of course, with their testing, change to something like a 5-4, 5-3, just because this card getting buffed by any way or means whatsoever is going to be crazy. And if you get this ramped out early, you do end the game, I do believe, with an extra 1 energy, right?
Yes. So for what's worth, how this card works on me, because I'll tell you a little bit of this. It's a 5/5, the following one that says on reveal, set your max energy equal to this card's power. I don't think we had said that yet, so I'm just making a point to say it here. So if I play Shuri and then play Fallen One, my max energy will be set to 10. And at the start of each turn, your max energy increases by 1. So if I play Shuri turn 4, Fallen 1 turn 5 on Shuri's lane, my max energy at the end of turn 5 is set to 10. Start of the next turn, it gets increased by 1.
Mm-hmm. So 11 power on final turn.
11 power on the final turn. This is, you talked about like Shuri, was it like Black Panther Shuri stuff? You play, your whole game plan could just be Shuri, Fallen One, and then any other lane, you just play Black Panther Nimrod, or not, Black Panther Zola, call it a day.
As long as there is no Stardust on the board.
Why would you bring up that card? Why would you do these things? Why would you talk about that atrocious pile of statistics that I don't like at all?
Yeah, you also could just set this up with Symbiote Spider-Man, so you get 12 max power.
The fact that Symbiote is so insane.
And for reference, it doesn't add 5 and then 12, so you'd have 17.
Yes.
It just, at that point, it sets it to whatever Symbiote Spider-Man's power is, so you'd be at 12 power for max energy, so then on turn 6, you would have 13 power because you gain 1 energy.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that people have forgotten about is that gaining 1 at the end of each turn, because I feel like it's because of Havoc.
Yep.
And that's because Havoc actually reduces your max energy by 1 at the end of each turn. How he works. But yeah, Fallen One. This is going to be probably one of the most insane cards. A card I'm extremely excited about, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. Just I don't know how to also say that.
Yeah, and like even like if you play this out at base, that's worst case scenario. Then you're pretty much just going to have a 5/5 on the board, and you would just get your energy you normally would. Yeah.
Because one of the biggest things you have to think about is like, okay, what do I do after this? What do I do with my extra energy? So you've got some other stuff you're setting up here. That just means you play the other stuff you've been setting up. That's it.
And that's where we talk about, like in the past, like when it comes to a 5-cost card, if you don't have any really benefits from that, you really are hoping you have other combo pieces.
Yeah. To be fair, I forgot about that. I wonder if this is secondary being like, okay, this is just going to be a stronger 5-cost. Let's see how good this is straight up, because our 5-costs have really been struggling. So what if we just release a good one and see what happens?
Well, this also isn't the only other strong 5-cost that we have this month, because the next card we also get
I really love this season.
Is going to be Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is the Punisher as Ghost Rider, by the way, which is a 5-cost, 7-power card. On reveal, remove the text from front row enemy cards here. You guys wanted a tech card that could deal with some of these end-of-turn cards. It's not necessarily specific to those end-of-turn cards, but you got it.
Yay. Cool. Cool card, bro. Cool card.
Dracula punching air once again.
I just hate this card, bro.
You hate this card?
I don't like any. It's tech. I don't want tech cards. I don't need more tech cards. I don't think we needed a different way for this stuff. I don't know.
Want another Red Guardian?
No. Tucker, I really didn't want another Red Guardian, Tucker. I was good. I'm good with the amount that we have.
You said you want to hit 1 card? I'll hold my beer. Hit 2.
He said, no, I got you, fam. It's fine. You know, Captain Carter was just barely playable. We didn't want her to be that good.
I mean, this takes away Fenris Wolf, potentially. This takes away, some of these first steps. Invisible Woman, Prodigy gets no value, potentially, depending on when you play this. I think this was kind of, maybe not a needed card, but a card that'll probably do well, right?
It'll be fine. It'll do well. It'll do what it does. Again, this is just part of the stuff where I'm like, where I talk about the season where I'm just like, it's not interesting. I don't really love it, but it makes sense why this is a thing.
Now, what about the next another Series 4 card that we're getting straight to seasonal Series 4 packs, and that is going to be Airwalker. I believe this is the Series 4 card. I don't think this is the game mode card.
Actually, I feel like this might be. I don't know. I've seen.
It's either or. This or the next card is going to be the game mode card. But we're going to get another Series 4 card, 2 packs. Which this is a 3-cost, 3-powered card. When this is destroyed, replace it with a 4-cost card from your hand or your deck. So you can get some targeted deck thinning when this card is destroyed.
This is going to be cool. So this is actually the, at least according to the video, which by the way, I forgot, this was a fun season video, by the way. I enjoyed it. Did you watch it?
Yes, I did watch it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
It really felt low budget and kind of low quality to me.
I think there were rhymes that weren't great, but I definitely didn't feel the same about the low quality bit, low budget. But I had the thing. This is going to be part of, according to this, High Voltage will be returning on August 21st with this, not by the way as the final reward, as the second to last reward for Volts. So
it's this
even
and
nicer
then the
potentially in
next.
the stuff.
Okay.
No, actually no. I think the last one might be coming out straight inside of packs because this is what is it? Because the last reward on the track is actually just a super premium mystery variant.
You know, that's what I'm saying. This is the event card. The next one's pack card.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, my bad. Airwalker should be cool. This is one that I'm wondering if this can bring Morgan Le Fay in.
Yeah, I think this could bring Morgan Le Fay, where the next card I think could bring some other crazy stuff too.
Yeah. Hit it.
Yeah, so this, replacing the 4-cost card from your hand or deck, which would be really cool to be able to get Morgan Le Fay just on the board, which honestly, no. Dance, I like that shout actually a lot because you're already setting up to destroy cards, and then you can have this happen, so you can just have Morgan Le Fay go onto the board instead of having to spend the 4 energy to get Morgan Le Fay. I actually really like that.
Yes.
That's really smart. Some potential, like, Kid Omega even Airwalker, which is maybe a little weird, maybe not the most power, but you could set up some combo stuff for later. And then you have Fire Lord, which is a 4-cost, 6-power card. On reveal, revive one of your discarded or destroyed 3-cost cards here, which of course has synergy with Airwalker. But I saw Glazer talking about this. This could be really interesting also, just like with Cassandra Nova and Sage and a new style of misery
Agony
kind
lists
of
are
stuff.
going to be really...
Yeah.
Misery, gosh.
Yeah.
One of the other painful things, yes. Misery feels like a lot of fun with this.
You guys did not catch that. No. Dance, that was actually really good. Really, really good. Because we're talking about pain, like agony and misery. He said painful things, like as like the feeling of misery or
That's what I
agony.
thought they were based off of. Wasn't that what they were? Because then you have...
Yes, no, that is.
Right,
but
wait.
I'm just saying that was really clever. What you just said was really clever. I was giving you your brownie points there. That's what I was saying. It was really clever.
But
yeah,
I didn't. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yes.
I was trying to understand.
No, I was giving you your flowers. I was giving you your flowers for the good pun. Okay.
Don't worry. Well, sorry. Wait. Did you just try giving me something? Unfortunately, sorry about that. Stardust didn't let you put it on the board, so you didn't get to do that at all.
Well, you know what? Stardust is not blocking Dance. All of these lovely viewers and listeners from following you on all of your socials as well. Because if you guys are not following Dance on YouTube, on Twitch, on his X, on his Blue Sky, you guys are truly missing out on some amazing content. He just released an amazing Dokkan video as well this week. If you guys have not checked that out as well, if you guys need to be playing Dokkan, because you guys should be playing Dokkan because he is performing actually well right now. And if you guys just want to get some free wins because people aren't really teching for it, you totally should be doing so as Dance goes and showcases a really good Moon Girl Dokkan deck, spoiler alert, that you guys totally should be checking out. But please make sure you guys are following Dance on all of his socials. That info will be down in the description below as he breaks down all of his content. He yaps as much as he does on here, if not a little bit more. Please make sure you guys are subscribed to Dance and following him as well.
Yeah, it's this is gonna be interesting. This just gets countered by both these. Just get countered by Stardust, which really is just unfortunate.
Yes, both these do get countered by Stardust because I also wonder how many people are going to be playing Stardust. Like, I think that'll be really interesting.
We're gonna have to see.
But at the same time, we do have Cosmic Ghost Rider to counter Stardust as well. Not,
Yeah, it's 5 power to do it. That's it.
Well, I mean, they play him on 4, you play him on 5. I mean, 7 power.
Yeah.
7 beats 6.
This is a season where I'm going to be playing Echo.
Echo and Enchantress season returns. Captain Carter.
You go Echo, Goose, Storm in order to throw down and then, right? It's just Cerebro 2.
Echo, Goose, Storm, and you're playing the Brood version, which is why you're running all these counters.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, he gets it.
But
or
Dance,
you can throw Red Guardian in there too.
We gotta rank these cards.
Cool. I'm gonna let you guess what my least favorite card is.
Is it Dar's Dust?
No. My least favorite card from this season is going to be the Fantastic Car. Sorry, I don't need it's. I've literally wrote down number 20 in terms of the 10 cards, and that's where Stardust goes for me.
Stardust. Okay. I was like,
Stardust is the lowest spot. It's just I really dislike Stardust. We'll see if I really hope Stardust isn't played. If it's played in any sort of regularity, I'm gonna finna crash out. Who you got as your number 10?
For my number 10, I think I have Frankie Ray.
Frankie Ray. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Frankie Ray Nova is gonna be your number 10 then. Who does that make for your number 9?
Number 9, I'm probably gonna put Airwalker.
Airwalker?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I think, unfortunately, number 9 is where I'm actually be putting, even though I don't like, what is it? I don't love Cosmic Ghost Rider, but the fact that it's actually lower, that has worse stats, I think means that Fire Lord is going to be my number 9.
Okay.
But it will be swiftly followed by Cosmic Ghost Rider.
You have Cosmic Ghost Rider at your number 8.
Mm-hmm. I'm really not stoked by these cards.
Okay. My number 8 is probably going to be Terrax.
Terrax? Okay. Oh my, we're going to have such different lists. Man, I love this.
And then
okay.
7 is probably Fire Lord.
Fire Lord fits there. Okay. I think out of my next ones, I think honestly, it probably just goes to, I think it's just Galactus, bro.
Okay.
Just, again, I've stood by. I know it's not. I'm not strictly going off just strength or whatever. I've said it before. It's what I personally believe or whatever I like and stuff. Galactus is just not. He just exists as a big card.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I think I do follow up with. I think I'm putting Terrax at my next slot because again, it's cool, but also I feel like I don't know how much difference is Darkhawk going to be. We'll see. Maybe it's entirely different, but it is just Darkhawk, but different.
Okay. I'm gonna put Redshift as my next card. As much as I love this card, I think ranking
That's
wise,
your number 6.
yes, I love Redshift.
Didn't even make it in the top half. Oh my god.
Redshift is my favorite card of the season, but I'm thinking about how good these cards are gonna be, and I think Redshift is probably like number 6 there.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm probably not going off of just how good these cards are. These are also this is just what I like. So if I went off of goodness, this list would look very different. So that's fair. Who takes your next slot?
I probably next will put Galactus First Steps.
This is where Galactus First Steps goes. Okay. I think. Because then what else do we have? I think this is probably where Airwalker goes for me. Again, I've had fun with Morgan in the past, and so just the fact that this being a Morgan card is really interesting. Much more so, honestly, to me than it being a Firewalker card personally. So. This is where I think Airwalker goes for myself.
I think Agent Venom actually is probably a pretty cool card too with Airwalker. Thinking about it now, not Agent Venom, Anti-Venom.
Anti-Venom, yes, Anti-Venom's. I think there's a lot. We'll talk about that. I think more so whenever we get to that bit. But I agree. There's gonna be a lot of really sick cards there. And going in. Oh gosh. So then, I think my next one then goes to. This is I think where Redshift fits for me. My number 4 slot. Redshift as my number 4.
Okay.
I like it. I think it's cool. It's also just like it is just a discard card in the end still. Like I know it can generate a card, but it is discard.
Yeah.
Who does that? What is your number 4 before we get to our top 3?
Number 4.
Burger King foot. Sorry.
You
said it in the same tone of that. You said it in the exact same tone as that thing. If you know that meme.
Probably will go with Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Or Cosmic. Tucker, why is Stardust in your top 3? Tucker?
thinking about just how good the card's going to be.
That's fine. All right. So we've got, all right. Well, who's your number 3? I'll give you my number 3 following.
My number 3 is Silver Surfer First Steps.
I think I actually just agree. Yeah, I think I actually just straight up agree with you. I think Silver Surfer First Steps is just it's number 3. It's going to be, this is where I'm worse on it, but also it's similar to what Prodigy does. So does that mean it's going to be better than what I'm thinking? Potentially. It's also, maybe because of that, it has a lot more range. So, Doug, you got 2 cards left here. You've got the Fallen One and Stardust. And a very weird twist. I have Fallen One as well, but instead of Stardust, I've got Frankie Ray Nova. Both, by the way, of our other person's bottom of the list.
Yep.
So, Tuck,
our number one.
What's your number 1?
Our number 1 is going to be Fallen One, and then we're going to put our other cards at number 2.
Yeah, I really like Frankie Ray Nova a lot. I am gonna be surprised if she's really good, but I said before, I'm a sucker for bad cards, and she's I straight up I am. I'm a sucker for a card that's probably not gonna be great, and that's she probably will not be great, but I'm really gonna have a blast playing her in lists that really wish she was better, but I'll still enjoy it. So, Tuck, as a TLDR for everyone, you have at your number 1 slot, you have Fallen One, then Stardust, Silver Surfer First Steps at your number 3, number 4 at Cosmic Ghost Rider, number 5 is Galactus First Steps, number 6 is Redshift with a key noted as your favorite card, number 7 is Firelord, number 8 is Terrax the Tamer, number 9 is Airwalker, and Frankie Ray Nova is at the bottom of your list. Following it with me, Fallen One, of course, the top as well. Swapping our Stardust and Frankie Ray Nova rankings, where I've got my Frankie Ray as next. Silver Surfer is number 3. Redshift, number 4. Airwalker, number 5. Terrax the Tamer, Galactus First Steps, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Firelord, and like I said, Stardust is at the bottom for me. So, basing off strength and such, maybe my list looks differently. Maybe it's there's definitely some favoritism, stuff that I like and don't like here. But this, I don't know. In general, I think there's a couple of cards that seem really cool, but just half of these cards kind of feeling like tech pieces or just big dumb idiot pieces. And part of the reason I'm kind of sad is even Firelord doesn't look to be a good card. So it's like, this is probably going to be one of my least favorite seasons of Marvel Snap, straight up.
Yeah, I think the Series 4 cards this season are pretty solid, compared to some of these previous seasons. I think they actually are playable, opposed to some of them being more meh, or card 16 or 17 in some of these decks, which I like. And then I'm interested to see how all these Series 5 cards land in general. I feel like we have the tech cards with Stardust and Cosmic Ghost Rider, and then we have some crazy combo pieces with Fallen One, and then potential power scaling with Frankie Ray. It'll just be really interesting to see how those cards fall with the start of the new season. But in general, what I really like, which we have not talked about here in this, is towards the end of the month, we are getting some archetype and themed specific snap packs with the third week of the season. We're going to be getting X-Men themed snap packs, which I do believe have cosmetics and then also series 3, 4, and 5 cards, or it is just series 3, 4, and 5 cards, which I'm really looking forward to.
I think there's one of, no, I think it's a series 3, 4, and 5,
which is amazing.
It looks like yeah, it's and also I think it's cheaper than the other packs, right? Yes. They did a move pack where they were all the premium stats or whatever, same as a seasonal pack, and these are cheaper akin to the normal stuff, but still gives you targeting, which is very cool. And then you also have a destroy version quickly following on, which is going to be, I'm glad they're doing some more stuff with the tokens. We'll see how much it matters. I'm not going to lie to you, again, as someone who has way too many tokens, because they don't have enough ways to spend them, I'm kind of hoping for more of these things where they just give us variants, because it gives me something to put my tokens in and then being like, cool, at least I'm getting a mastery level or something. But this is, I want your opinion on this. Okay. Before anything else, as a rounding question, in regards to this preview of this upcoming season, do you think Fallen One will break the meta? Is actually a better question. Let me phrase it better. Is Fallen One going to be, in your opinion, so good that if you would like to compete with him, you need to have him.
I think there's going to be a world where Fallen One is one of those must-have cards that we really haven't had in probably about a season and a half. Where yes, First Steps Invisible Woman is strong, but I don't feel like it is necessarily groundbreaking per se. Like, it definitely makes the archetype better. It makes a brand new style archetype. But like Fallen One, how White Hot Room really benefits you, and how you can get the extra value there, and but you're not building your deck around White Hot Room. Whereas people are going to be building their deck around the Fallen One and having different ways to combo that out. And I think that definitely is going to be a situation where it's like, well, I have a Fallen One mirror, and we do not have a single card in the game that can cap my energy. And I think that's what we were running into when Hope Summers came out, is if you have Hope down and you have your combo going, you're playing so many different cards. Whereas now, since we don't have anything to offset that, if you don't have Fallen One this week, I feel like there's definitely going to be instances where this deck does go crazy. Of course, you are having to really get the extra high roll in the Fallen One, have combo cards, so he's at more than 5 power. But I feel like there's so many different ways you can do that now, opposed to with Clea, we were well, you can't really buff Clea all too much. Of course you had these ways to do it, but I think it's even crazier, with Fallen One, and it's a different concept too, that energy over power, you can play more power after you have the excess energy.
You know what I just realized? It would change my entire viewpoint of this season, and especially even with Fallen One.
Mm-hmm.
How bad would it be if Stardust just had that thing where your max energy is equal to, both players' max energy is equal to whatever turn it is. Same stats, just as an ongoing ability. Yeah, for Stardust, sorry. Just instead of that, how bad, same stats, same everything, is just as that instead.
What if they just made that King's ability?
I'd be down. I don't know. We'll see.
But
it's we'll have to see when King goes around. But that's one thing, by the way, Glenn even said, I think a week ago. Someone asked, hey, I was wondering if we reached the point where there are enough bonus energy cards and locations to justify having a tech card against it. Glenn just said, I think so. He said, yeah.
Yeah.
So Fallen One might be a reason for it. Maybe because of that, that's why Kang is getting, maybe that's the Kang thing. I actually love the idea for that. We'll see. But that's us yapping.
Yep.
That's the end of our a year yapping right there, Tuck.
Which, by the way, if you guys did not hear earlier, if you guys do want any questions for next week's episode of the Yap, the word of today's Yap is going to be question. Let us know down below. Snap-related question or maybe even personal-related question. We may even do some personal questions. But let us know.
We'll be celebrating. How does he keep his beard in such great shape? How does he manage to avoid all of the clamors of both men and women yearning for him and staying so loyal and handsome with a son too? God, it's just, I don't know the answer. Hopefully someone is going to ask that question. We'll see y'all around next week.
Yes.
Thank you so much for hanging out today while Tucker can't breathe. We'll see you next week for the anniversary of Marvel Yap.
Yeah, it's been real. God bless, and laters.